So, as the entire world knows, the UK has voted to leave the EU, and I guess some people are reeling in shock, myself included, because when you know, it's one thing to vote, it's another thing to hear the arguments of why people voted the way they voted. And when you hear things like, we voted to leave the EU to stop immigration, and because of the fact you don't want Muslims in the country, which is what we heard from Barnsley. It's a difficult pill to swallow, and one you just have to swallow anyway, but it's the height of ignorance that is astonishing to me. Honestly, that's how I feel. It's difficult to digest because when you hear things like the reason why we voted to leave the EU is because we don't want people from Africa, from Asia, from all those other continents. It makes you wonder, okay, so do you know what the EU is? Like, do you know Europe? Like, do you know that Africa is not in Europe? Because if we're having that discussion, if we're having the discussion of the locality of continents like Africa and Asia in Europe, then what was the point in having debates? Like, I'm confused, because there's a lot of people, what has happened is, since the results have come out, people have started Googling what is the EU, what is the implications of voting leave, and it's like, well, there were 24 hours before the opportunity to vote that you had to ask that question. Why didn't you ask it then? And so I am gobsmacked. I'm flabbergasted. I don't know where to begin, but this is the reality, so we have to live with the consequences. And I guess for this generation, that's our future, is the most diplomatic way I can put it. The EU subsidies. So for those of you who don't know, people in certain areas get money from the EU for farming and agriculture. There are other parts of the UK, if not most parts of the UK, that get more money from the EU than London does. Yet London voted to remain, as did Oxford, but Barnsley had an overwhelming majority, about 70%, who voted to leave. Because they don't want any more immigrants. Okay. Because they want to stop immigration. And they're so proud to be British. I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. And you know what? All I can do is drink water. Like, that's the only thing that I can't even try and drown my sorrows in Coke, or like I can't even drown it in anything properly. I just have to drink water because of this 90-day water challenge. And I think that's quite frustrating. But that's the reality with what we have to live with. I guess I'll take it on the chin. And yeah, people have been saying positivity is key. Yeah, I guess it is. We have to work with the consequences now. But it didn't need to get to this. And I understand people's arguments for the fact that there are 11 member states that pay for the other 17. Yes, maybe Germany wants to do business with us regardless of whether we're in or out of the EU, but they're not the only country in Europe that are worth doing business with. But I don't want to start venturing into territory of that nature. This is just a reaction. This is my reaction to the results of the EU referendum. So David Cameron has resigned. Wow, I think it's the reality hitting that's so hard, because goodness gracious, I felt, or I guess I didn't want to believe that we would vote leave. I guess that's just me. I guess that was my fault. But yeah, we're living in a different Britain because of it. Scotland want an independence vote. Independence referendum. Of course, well, they're entitled to. I think so is Ireland. But I guess this is what you get when you have a democracy. Everybody's allowed the opportunity to vote, so they exercise that right. It's sad. Personally, it's sad. And for me, when you look at the wider ramifications on the cost of everything, trade deals that we currently enjoy, 52 to be exact. Okay then, kiss all of that goodbye. Okay, cool. Well, it is what it is. I'm not gonna allow the doom and gloom spoil my day. I'm just gonna keep on living my life the best way I can live it. I'm gonna keep drinking water, I guess. 90 days H2 only. I just wasn't expecting this at all. So I thought I'd just share my reaction, because from a young person's perspective, my heart sank when I saw 75% of young people vote to remain. It's hard, man. This is tough. So, but anyway, let me not continue to just sigh and huff and puff. Let me just get off. I hope everybody enjoys their weekend. It'll be. I just think now. I just want to watch in the next coming days what happens to the likes of Boris Johnson and Michael Gove and Nigel Farage. But for football fans, if you're hoping you want to buy that player, oh gosh, you guys are gonna have fun now. Yeah. As an Arsenal fan, Gabriel's paperwork took forever. Brazil's nowhere near the EU, right? So your whole Jurgen Klopp's, even Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, all those people, we're lucky that they came when they came. That's all I'm saying. But there are wider ramifications than simply immigration. And I hope people are aware of that. So I hope you have a lovely evening. That's my thoughts on the EU referendum. Stay blessed, and remember, H2O is the only way to go. You're done.